Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. And this is going to be your review of The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 6, Episode 13, GVO or GTFO. Okay, so this episode starts with Mia getting ready for Wendy's trip because Wendy has invited all the girls to, I don't know if it's called the eastern. I don't know what it's called, but I think it's Chesapeake Bay. I think they call it Chesapeake Bay as well. So Wendy has invited all the girls to Chesapeake Bay for the weekend. So we see Mia getting ready, packing her bags. Gordon is going to be coming with her because it is a couple's trip, and the kids are going to be left with Mia's mom. So this will be the first time that she leaves her kids with her mom for the very first time. So the kids are going to miss their mom. You know, her little boy, he's crying and hugging on her and, you know, telling her that he loves her and he's going to miss her. He doesn't want her to go. So that was a really sweet scene. Her husband says that he's not that thrilled about going because he doesn't like couples trips. But the last time they went out anywhere, I guess the last vacation they took was 2019. So he's okay with going to support Mia, but he said he's not really thrilled about going, but that really didn't seem like the case as we saw later. And Mia tells her husband that, you know, her and Candace have, you know, they have some tension between them. So I guess she's just trying to forewarn him. Candace is also going to be going on the trip with her husband, Chris. And with Candace, we see her and Chris sitting outside, I guess, on one of their patios or back patio, I think. And they're having a charcuterie, I think it's called charcuterie board. And Chris, once again, is drinking. And Candace even makes it a point to bring that up, that he's drinking. So I'm not understanding what's going on here. If this is going to be like the running theme for Chris is, you know, his issues with drinking. I'm not understanding. But Chris this season is not the same Chris. He's not the Chris that I'm used to. He looks very haggard and very tired and very worn out. And I'm not understanding what's happening. I mean, they have this beautiful, beautiful new home. I know that the Bravo money is good. I'm not understanding like what's going on with Chris and why he's always, you know, so stressed out and looking really haggard and tired all the time and drinking. I don't know. I don't know why Candace keeps bringing it up. Him drinking in the afternoon, him drinking in the morning. Is it an issue? Is this an issue? I don't know. So then they talk about, so the time was, I don't know, like 4:30 or something in the afternoon. And Candace says, it's 4:30. And so we have exactly 30 minutes to talk about business because they have an agreement not to talk about business after 5 o'clock. So they talk about her signing with this management group. I think it's called E1. And I guess it's a pretty big management group. Usher's with them, Brandy and K. Michelle. And she's really excited about that because she's been an independent artist so far. So it'd be nice to have a big management group behind her to push her music, help with her videos, help with her career, etc. Then Chris and Candace talk about the Mia incident, you know, how the whole situation with Mia calling her production low budget, her telling Mia that her mom was low budget, and even Chris, the reaction that Chris gave when Candace told him that was like, you know, it might have been too much for her to say that. And then Candace says that Mia is projecting her insecurities on everyone else. And that's why at the Reasonably Shady party, get together, whatever that was that Giselle had set up, that's why she had stood up and, you know, did this whole projection thing, saying that, you know, in front of Mia, saying that she was going to project whatever insecurities that Mia had, that she projected on others, Candace was going to project it back to Mia. So stupid. Okay, so Candace brings up the couples trip, and Chris says he's really looking forward to seeing Dre and Escala. So this wasn't seen, but they showed a clip of it, but it wasn't aired or whatever, that Chris, Escala, Candace, and Escala's husband, Dre, had all gone out for dinner. And so Chris really enjoys Escala and Dre's company, and he's looking forward to seeing them, and that's really about it, you know. So this is going to be the first time that we see Escala's husband, Dre. Robin and Ashley. So Ashley comes over to Robin's house. They talk about Candace's whole low budget comment. Ashley didn't know that Mia's mom was a recovering drug addict, and so it kind of like, clarified things for Ashley of why that comment was just so inappropriate, because Robin told her that, Mia's mom's been going through a lot. She's a recovering addict. So when Candace said that, it was just, it was really going below the belt. And then all of a sudden, it's boob time. Ashley whips out her boob to feed her baby. And I kind of got the impression that Robin was not comfortable with that, because Robin kind of seems like, to me, like she was the kind of mom that bottle fed her husband. Bottle fed her kids. So it seemed like Robin was a little bit put off by that, or a little bit uncomfortable, but I could have been, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it seemed like to me. And Ashley, every time we see Ashley, Ashley does a lot of breastfeeding on camera. Nothing wrong with that. She's a mom. Your baby's hungry. You have to feed your baby. But it's like, every time Ashley has a baby with her, her boob will eventually come out for her to feed. Then they talk about the group text, when Wendy has sent out the group text to everybody, inviting everybody to Chesapeake Bay. Giselle had responded in the group text that she was not going to be joining them, that she was not going to go. She was going to decline the invitation because the way that Wendy invited her was really rude. And so she was like, I'm not going to go because your invitation to me was really rude and I'm not going. So then we see Giselle. She's in the kitchen and she has her hairdresser fixing her hair or dyeing her hair, and she's telling her hairdresser about the group text and how she declined it, how she declined the invitation. And her hairdresser was like, and you declined in the group text? And Giselle was like, yeah, I did, because I think that she should have probably had contacted Wendy directly and told Wendy directly, just between them in private, that, she wasn't going to go, instead of saying what she said in the group text. Robin saw nothing wrong with it. Ashley was a little bit perturbed because Ashley wants Robin to go, and if Giselle isn't going to go, we know Robin's not going to go. So Ashley was telling Robin, we're back in the kitchen at Robin's house. Ashley's telling Robin, I really want you to come because I need you to be there for me. Michael's not coming. And so she tells Robin that Michael is not coming. He's going to stay home with the babies. And I was like, really? Ashley, you want us to believe that Michael is going to stay home with the babies? Okay. What I think what's really going to go down is that he's going to get the babysitter and he's going to take off and go do what Michael does, whatever that is. So I don't see Michael staying home with 2 children the whole entire weekend. Okay, and Michael is not coming because he doesn't like Chris and Candace. So he wants to avoid the Bassett. So he's not coming because of that. Then we go over to Karen. So Karen, she's getting ready for her trip. I think did her package of candles come in? I don't know. I don't remember. I think her package of candles came in. Ashley comes over because she's going to pick up Karen, and they're going to go to the trip. They're going to go to Chesapeake Bay together, and Ray will join them the following day. Now, it took a long time for Ashley and Karen to show up at Chesapeake Bay because a lot was going on at the house, and it just seemed like they would always cut away to Karen and Ashley riding in the car, and it just seemed like that trip took a long time. I guess because a lot happened at the house while they were on their way, but that trip seemed, I was like, where are they driving from? Why does this trip feel like it's taking 3 hours for them to get there? So everyone arrives to the Eastern Shore. We have Wendy and her husband. They're coming in. Wendy was red bottomed. She was just labeled out. She had on her red bottom. She had on her Balenciaga coat jacket thing with the Balenciaga written all over it. And I'm like, okay, you are arriving on vacation, and the terrain was not rugged, but there were a lot of rocks, and you're not arriving at the Ritz, okay? You're not arriving at some luxurious urban hotel. You're arriving out there in nature, in a really nice home. It was a really nice house. But why are you coming out in your red, your 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch, I don't know, red bottoms, walking around on these rocks, you know, risking a serious knee injury? Why are you doing that? Why can't you just be comfortable for once? We know you have money. We know you have labels. Why can't you just for once put on some tennis shoes, a sweatsuit, and just be comfortable and not 10 pounds of makeup on? You're on vacation, Wendy. Like, why do you, and you're out there on the Chesapeake Bay. You're out there, in nature and stuff. Like, why can't you just be comfortable for once? She just looked ridiculous walking around those rocks in her red bottoms. Okay, so when they get there, then Mia and Gordon arrive. And so we have Mia and Gordon, and we have Wendy and Eddie, and they're all in the kitchen. Of course, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to start drinking. And Wendy wants to make a toast to GVO, which is good vibes only. So they all toast to that because Wendy says that she wants her trip to be positive. She wants everybody to have a good experience. She doesn't want any drama, no fighting, no nothing. And at this point, Mia tells Wendy about her mom because they bring up the whole thing about what Candace had said. And Mia tells Wendy that her mom was a recovering drug addict. And so Wendy asked Mia, so, how did you feel when she said that about your mom? She called your mom low budget. So how did you feel about that? And Mia was like, oh, I just saw her as she's just a child. She's just a spoiled brat. Karen and Ashley, they're still driving. So Karen is telling Ashley that she's planning her own wedding. I guess her and Ray are going to renew their wedding vows, I think. And in the car, Ashley is pouring her breast milk in a bottle from one bottle to another, or she's measuring it or something. And Karen looked horrified. Ashley asked Karen if Giselle and Robin were coming. And Giselle, then we cut to Giselle. She's in the kitchen. And she's in the kitchen. She hurt her foot. She hurt her foot from when she was, working around her house before the reasonably shady party. So she hurt her foot. So we see Giselle walking around her kitchen as if she's not planning for a trip. So it looks like she's not going to show up. And then Robin is cutting someone's toenails at her house. So it seems like she's not packing. She's not going to show up anywhere. Candace and Chris arrive. As soon as they arrive, Wendy announces the theme of the weekend, which is GVO, good vibes only. Candace says, well, if it's good vibes only and you're not about good vibes, then GTFO, get the F out. Okay. Then we cut to Ashley. And the reason why I'm laughing is because, the whole mood was ruined because of Candace. So did she GTFO? Because she's the one that ruined the good vibes. Anyways, then we cut to Ashley and Karen again. They're still driving. And Ashley is telling Karen that, she's really looking forward to meeting Gordon and she likes Gordon. And it seems like he's just a really chill dude. Then we cut back to the house. Now, Gordon is lit. I don't know how many shots he's taken, but he's lit. He says that he's a strip club connoisseur because he's been to so many. And that at this point in his life, he's no longer interested in strip clubs. And because he's no longer interested in strip clubs, but his wife still is. And so he goes to the strip clubs to support her. Chris thought that was hilarious. Chris thought that was hilarious. I didn't think it was funny at all. Candace, in her confessional, she says, of course he's not going to strip clubs anymore. Why would he? Because he has a whole entire strip club in his own house permanently, referring to Mia and her previous profession. I don't like how Candace is constantly... is it slut shaming? Is that what it's called nowadays? I don't like how Candace is slut shaming Mia, trying to bring up her past as if it's something that Mia needs to be ashamed of. How she always brings it up in this really negative light. I don't like that because, we've evolved. Hopefully we've evolved from that. This is strippers, sex workers, all of these people. If they're doing it if they're working in these industries, you know, because they want to. And I'm not talking about the sex trafficking. I'm not talking about the victims of sex trafficking. I'm not talking about, you know, the people who are forced into sex work. I am talking about people who make the voluntary choice to do sex work. I mean, we should all know by now that this is a business, okay? It's a multi-billion, multi-gazillion dollar business. And that's what it is. It's a business. So you're using your body to get money. I don't think people should be shamed for that. I don't think people should be dragged through the mud for that. It's a business transaction. So you have someone who's willing to offer their body, their sex services, whatever, for money. You have someone who's willing to pay someone to, you know, look at them naked or to have sex with them. This is what it is now. So Candace always talking about how she used to be a stripper and her husband's a pimp and she's a hoe and her husband found her on the streets, and it's just so boring, so delayed, so it's just so like, can you come up with anything more recent? Can you come up with anything more current than that? We all, okay, so she was a stripper. She gave this story in a previous episode. Mia gave the story that she worked at this club or restaurant where women were just walking around in gowns, beautiful, and men would pay to sit and have dinner with them or something. That's how she presented it. And she probably was ashamed of what she did, so she's going to present it in that light. But bottom line, she worked in a strip club. And that's where she met her husband, Gordon. That's fine. There's no shame in that. You know, there's no shame in that. So I'm just like, it's just so childish for Candace to constantly, oh, and you're a hoe and you're a stripper or you're a sex worker, you're a night crawler. It's just so immature. And I'm tired of it. Okay, moving on. So when they talk about how, you know, Gordon makes that horrible joke about how he doesn't like strip clubs, but his wife does, so he only goes because she goes. Mia says that Gordon, you know, and then they talk about how when they go to strip clubs together, you know, they talk about what woman they like or what stripper they like or what stripper they prefer or whatever. And then Mia says, yeah, but Gordon prefers white women. And then Gordon makes this rapid thrusting motion as if he's, you know, he's imitating sex, and it was just so cringy to me to see this older man drunk out of his mind. It was just bad. It reminded me of dogs humping. It was just so bad. And I felt so embarrassed for Gordon. I don't think I felt that embarrassed for Mia, because I think Mia was also pretty lit and she probably didn't care. But I felt so embarrassed for Gordon, and it was just like so cringy to watch that. And then he makes these hand gestures that he's very well endowed. It's just like, wow, this is going from bad to worse. Then Ascala and Dre arrive. And when they arrive, Gordon turns to me and says, who the F are they? He doesn't know who they are. They do more shots. So basically we have everybody there except for except for Ashley and Karen, Robin and Giselle. So then they start looking for rooms. Candace shows them around. I think it was, who was with her? No, Wendy shows them around. So she takes Candace and she takes Ascala to go look for rooms, I think. And Gordon is outside by himself. All the guys are in the kitchen. They're still drinking, I think. I think Mia's with the guys. And then Wendy, Ascala, and Candace are walking through the house. Gordon is outside by himself. He's on the phone. So it's kind of mysterious. Like, who are you on the phone with when everyone else is inside the house? Come to find out, he's on the phone with a car salesman. So he puts the guy on speaker. Then he goes into the kitchen and he gives Mia the phone, and he tells everybody, listen to this. And so Mia's like, hello? And it's the car salesman. And he's basically telling Mia that, you know, he has a G-Wagon that Gordon had picked out for her, and it's going to be a custom-made G-Wagon. And so Mia gets excited, and she's like, oh, so when can I come meet you? I guess, for her to give him the details of all the things that she wants in it. And then Gordon is trying to stop her. He's trying to hush her. He's like, no. Stop. And then, you know, she keeps talking to the guy on the phone, and he's like, no, be quiet. This is the only time that I feel like I have the right to tell you to shut the F up. And then Mia takes it all in stride. And then we go to the room. Oh, it was just Candace and Escala in one of the bedrooms. And so they're talking, and they're talking about Gordon, and Candace is telling Escala that Gordon is a bit much. You know, he's a little bit too much, and how much Gordon reminds him of Michael Darby, and Candace takes it upon herself to analyze everybody and say that, you know, Michael and Gordon are these older men who have been married before, and they've done the whole married thing, the whole family thing, the whole monogamy thing with their first wives, and now they're with these younger women, and they're just not going to live like that anymore. And my question was, well, how does Candace know that Gordon and Michael were monogamous in their first marriages? Obviously things didn't work out because they have second wives now, so how do you know they were monogamous? Not to say that it was, you know, infidelity that broke up their marriages, but how do you know they're monogamous? And how do you know what they want now and what they don't want? You know, like, who are you to say something like this? And then Gordon, now we're back into the kitchen, and Gordon is asking Chris if he can get a loan because white people have good credit. Whew. Okay. So Candace and Escala are still talking in the bedroom. Wendy comes in to join them. Wendy tells them that Gordon had told Mia, because Wendy was in the kitchen. Wendy was not taking Escala and Candace to the house to go find a room. Escala and Candace they took it upon themselves to walk throughout the house. And then Wendy was still in the kitchen with Mia, Gordon, and the guys. So Wendy tells them, when she comes into the bedroom with Candace and Escala, she tells them that Gordon had told Mia to shut the F up. And then Candace compares Mia and Gordon's relationship to a father-daughter relationship. You know, I guess she was trying to imply it was kind of like Gordon disciplining Mia. Then Mia walks in, and Escala asks if Gordon did tell her to shut the F up. And Mia kind of brushes it off. She's like, yeah, he told me that. And so, and you know, Mia, she's kind of drunk. She's kind of tipsy. And so Mia was like, yeah, he told me that. I tell him, he tells me. I mean, what's the big deal? Then Candace says, well, me and Chris, you know, we talk like that to each other too. We just don't do it in mixed company. Oh, okay. So now Candace is the queen of etiquette of what people should and should not say in public. I don't even care if it's in public. I don't think spouses should tell each other that at all, period. In private, in public, nowhere. I mean, that's just really crass to me, you know, to talk to your spouse that way. And then, you know, for Candace to say, well, me and Chris talk like that to each other, but it's only in private, as if that's any better. Why are you and your husband telling each other to shut the F up? And I mean, maybe if you're joking around, I guess, but if you're seriously talking like that to your spouse, that's like almost verbal abuse to me. I didn't get that. Like, why would it be any better whether it's in private or mixed company? So Wendy brings up the whole Candace thing. You know, Candace at the video shoot calling Mia's mom low budget. Candace immediately becomes defensive and says this was just a reaction to what was said about what was said about her mom, and what was not about her mom, but what was said to her mom. She was just reacting from Mia approaching her mom and asking her mom if Chris was on the payroll because he's Candace's manager. So she was just reacting to that comment. That's why she called Mia's mom low budget. Then Mia says that as a CEO, let's talk about Mia as a CEO real quick. So Mia says that she's a CEO, I guess, of her husband's chiropractic business. I don't know if it's still her husband's or it's just hers right now. I don't know. But she's a CEO. I'm beginning to really wonder what type of business experience Mia has to run several chiropractic businesses. You know what I mean? Like, does she go to college? Does she have a business degree? Like, what qualifies her to take over all of these chiropractic businesses? Because what I've seen from what they've shown on the show was she visited one of the locations, and I think she was asking about how the brochures were placed. I need to know, like, what qualifies her to take over all of these businesses, all of these chiropractic businesses that her husband has. I'm just curious. I'm not saying that she's not good at it or she doesn't know what she's doing. I'm just curious. So Mia says that as a CEO, whenever she arrives somewhere, she always wants to know who's in charge, and she wants to immediately identify the problem. That That answer was weak. But why would you do that at a video shoot? What do you know about shooting a video? Now, are you a director? Do you produce music videos? Are you the music industry? That might make sense, for you to come there and criticize everything that you saw. If that's what you do, if this is your industry, this is your career to do that. But you are in the business of chiropracticness. You're a chiropractor person. So what do you know about how a video shoot should go, how it should look, who should be there, who shouldn't be there? How do you know? So no, that's not why you asked. It's not because you're a CEO and you want to identify the problem. You asked because you're trying to be messy, because you're trying to secure your Bravo bag. You want to rock the boat. You want to cause some drama because you want to come back next season. That's the reason why you asked. You're just trying to be messy. That's it. Candace says something about, well, you need to read the room. You need to know how to read the room. That wasn't the place or time to ask something like that. Well, when is it a place or time to ask if your husband's on the payroll? Mia says that she aspires to be like Dorothy. She wants to be like Dorothy, a successful businesswoman. And Candace says, well, Dorothy wasn't found at a strip club. Here we go again with the sex work shaming. Mia said that Candace should take the low budget comment as constructive criticism. Candace says that Mia was found on the curb by a pimp and didn't invite her to criticize her video shoot. Once again, she brings up Mia's past. Wendy asks if Mia is okay. And Candace didn't like that because Wendy turned over to Mia, who was sitting next to her on the bed. And she goes, are you okay? And then Candace did not like that. Candace was like, what? No. Why are you asking her that? Why are you asking her if she's okay? And then Wendy says that it's a lot for two people to jump on one person because Ascala was also, I think, kind of sort of butting. Ascala to me, okay, I don't know. So then we cut to, because Candace says, well, what about when Giselle and Robin were both attacking Mia at Candace's little event that she had a couple of episodes ago? And Giselle and Robin were both jumping on Mia, and she says, I came to her rescue. I don't know if she came to her rescue as much as she just wanted it to stop. Maybe that is coming to her rescue. Candace says that Mia has had more than that on her at one time. And that's when she brings up the whole Giselle and Robin thing. And Candace Mia decides to take a call. Her phone rang and she decides to take a call. And so Candace is like, oh, okay, you're going to take a call. You're just going to completely dismiss us. Wendy starts to usher out Candace and Ascala, like, let's go ahead and leave. So they kind of gather into the hallway. And then here comes Mia. She's still on the phone talking to her friend. And she refers to the women there as broke bitches. She's like, well, I'm glad that I'm talking to somebody who understands me, my beautiful rich friends, because these broke bitches don't. And then Candace says, your mother is a broke bitch. Whew. Okay, so Candace likes to go, when she hits hard and she cuts deep. And I just don't understand that because with Ashley, she always talked about, before Ashley had the baby, she always talked about Michael, liking men, having boyfriends. Then Ashley had the baby. So anytime she got into it with Ashley, and Ashley wouldn't even say anything personal. Like when they were at, when Candace had her little retreat, and Ashley had come there and she had talked to Wendy about, the rumors about her husband, and Ashley was in the kitchen, and then Candace was like, why would you even bring that up? And so they kind of got into it, and immediately, I don't remember Ashley saying anything personal to Candace, but all of a sudden here comes Candace. Well, you take your wide mom body, or whatever she said, take your wide body, take your breast milk and take your wide body out of here. She starts talking about her body because, she's probably put on, a couple of ounces since she's had the baby, because, Ashley to me looks basically the same, and, talks about her breast milk, take you and your breast milk. Like, why are you bringing these mom things up? Like, why are you using her breast milk and her, post baby body to attack her? Why are you doing that? Why can't you just stick to the topic? You don't like the fact that she approached Wendy about the infidelity rumors, and just keep it at that. Like, why do you have to take personal digs at people? And so she takes something about Ashley that she thinks is really going to hurt her by criticizing her body and then saying something about her breast milk. Like, what does that have to do with the infidelity of Eddie, of the infidelity rumors of Eddie? I don't know. And here she goes again, where she, Mia's talking to her friend and she's calling them broke. And then she's like, oh, your mom is a broke bitch. What does her mom have to do with anything? Okay, moving on. So Ashley and Karen arrive. Mia's happy. Mia is happy to see them because, it got thick in there. Ashley brings her family picture, which I thought was really weird because she wants to put it on the wall or somewhere in her room. This is a weekend trip, Ashley. You're not going to be gone for 6 months. You will see your family in a few hours, 48, 72 hours. You'll be back with your family. I'm not understanding why you had to drag a portrait-sized picture with you to this vacation. I didn't get that at all. Wendy gives out her gift basket, which includes her candle, and I think the name of her candle or her brand is Oni. Wendy allows Karen and Escala. Was it Karen and Escala? Yeah, she allows Karen and Escala to pick their rooms first because at Candace's trip, they were stuck in the cottage. And so because they were stuck in the cottage, she's allowing them to have their pick of rooms first. And then after that, she asks Ashley to pick a room. And then after that, Mia gets to pick a room. And then after that, we have Candace. And so Candace, I'm pretty sure Candace didn't like that because Candace obviously thinks that everybody should be on her side. Whenever she's against someone, she doesn't want no one to be on that person's side. No, she doesn't want anyone to treat Ashley or Mia, better than they treat her. So I'm pretty sure that really bothered Candace that they got to pick their rooms first. Escala confronts Mia about the broke bitch comment. And Mia actually denied it, which is crazy because we clearly heard her call them broke bitches. She called Escala and Candace and Wendy. I don't know if she really meant to include Wendy, but she just generally said, because these broke bitches don't understand me. Mia denied ever saying that. And then Candace says that they're all in the kitchen now. The men have gathered outside because, they feel the kitchen warm and, getting hot. So all the men leave to go outside. And so it's just the girls in the kitchen. And so then Candace says that Mia needs to go to therapy because she's a classist. She's constantly bringing up, money and how much money she has and how broke everyone else is and how everyone needs to be on her level. And Candace says, well, I'm a black woman who's proud of, my wealth and my successes. Which is lies. You're just you're just showing off. And then Candace tells her that you just barely got here. You just barely made it in. I was like, what does she mean by that? That she barely made it on the show? That she barely made it to the trip? I didn't understand why Candace said that. Mia's constantly waving her hand dismissively in Candace's face. And we know Candace, she doesn't take too well to that. So Candace is constantly telling her to stop, get your hand out of my face. Mia says that she has no problem with Candace, that she's basically a child and that, she doesn't have any issues with her because she's not going to pay her any dust. Candace calls her disrespectful. Mia walks away. Candace says something about you started it, but I'm going to finish it. Candace starts yelling, where is your pimp? Where is your pimp? I guess when she feels like she's losing the argument, because Mia wasn't paying her any attention. She was basically walking out. And I guess when Candace feels like she was losing the argument, she starts yelling out, where is your pimp? Once again, bringing up her past life, her past career. Mia goes to her husband and she's like, pimp, your hoe is here. Okay, basically to let Candace know that your words have no effect on me. So she goes to her husband who's sitting on the couch in the living room and she says, pimp, where you at, pimp? Where you at? Your hoe is here. Candace tells Gordon, tell your wife to shut the F up again. And Candace also tells Gordon, she's hungry. Feed her. She's hungry. Then she takes a piece of lettuce, a lettuce leaf or a spinach leaf, and she throws it. Now, when she threw that lettuce leaf across the counter in Mia's direction, everybody was like, oh, no, Candace, no, because they see that it's getting out of hand now. Mia said that the video was low budget. Candy says again, your mother is low budget. Everyone tries to calm Candace down. They tell her that she doesn't know anything about Mia's mom. I recall Ashley saying, "You don't know her mom's story." And Candace tells Ashley, "You don't either," but she does. Mia says they both start, dropping the F-bomb on each other, F you, F you. And then Ashley says, okay, you don't know her story. And then at this point, Mia takes as she's walking out of the kitchen, she takes a handful of lettuce and she throws it at Candace. And that's where we end. And Candace attempts to throw it back at her, but Mia was like already on her way out of the kitchen. Now, this is what I have to say about this whole episode and this whole scene. Candace she has anger. She has an anger control issue. People who are constantly trying to attack you below the belt, like who are constantly throwing these personal attacks, personal digs. You can tell Candace, "I don't like your outfit." And then Candace will come back with, "That's why your dead grandmother died of a drug overdose." You know what I mean? It's like she takes it to that next level unnecessarily. Like whenever the things that she said about Ashley, the things that she said about Mia, she just takes things to that whole other level unnecessarily. And she just comes across as really angry, and more than that, extremely hurt. She's like a very hurt person. And I'm not understanding exactly why. I mean, she's really hurt. I don't know if it's the issues with her mom. I don't know if it's the issues with her parents, breaking up. I don't know what exactly is going on, but she really hits below the belt, and it's sometimes kind of uncomfortable to watch that she can attack people so cruelly like that. And I hope that at some point, either during this season or at the reunion or at some point, that she sincerely apologizes to Mia, because Mia's mom has not met the girls yet. She's not really that involved with the rest of the cast. She seems like a really sweet woman who is, getting her life back together again after having a very difficult past. So even though Candace may not know her mom's history, for her to do that, because you don't know, don't bring it up. Because you don't know, don't bring it up. Why can't you just attack Mia for who Mia is as a person? Just attack her looks, her plastic surgery, her wigs, her weaves, whatever. But you're going for someone who's got nothing to do with the rest of y'all. She hasn't met y'all, unlike Dorothy, who is very much involved with the show and has interacted with the rest. And I'm not saying anyone should say anything about Dorothy either, but Dorothy's more into the show and kind of stands as her own character than Mia's mom, who's there as Mia's mom, and every time that we've seen her, she doesn't talk about the ladies. She's got nothing to say about the ladies. Dorothy has had plenty to say about the other cast members. Mia's mom is just... she happens to be Mia's mom, and, she's just doing her thing, trying to live her life. And for Candace to constantly bring up her mother, for Candace to constantly bring up Mia's past, trying to shame her for her past, we don't do that anymore. We don't do that slut shaming anymore into 2021. She was working, she was getting paid, she was doing it voluntarily, and she was doing it with consenting adults, whatever the hell she was doing. So why are you trying to shame her for that? Why are you trying to shame her for that? Now, there's women out there who do it for free and get nothing in return. At least she was getting her bills paid in some way, in some capacity. She was being financially taken care of. So why are you trying to shame her for that? And so I just have an issue with Candace, bringing up Mia's past, bringing up her mom. And I feel like Candace, if she really could be herself, she would probably bring up Mia's children. She'd probably bring that up as well, if she could. Because she really wants to hurt you with those words. And I can only imagine what she tells Chris when they're having these arguments in private. And I'm thinking maybe that's why, he's kind of the show is kind of portraying him as this like baby alcoholic. I don't know, because living with Candace seems to be like a handful. She seems very, very, very immature. She's extremely spoiled. Or maybe her issues with Mia is that Mia's mom was not a part of her life. And Mia really had to grow up on her own, or, she kind of, everything that she's had, even though, she married a man who was wealthy. Maybe what bothers Candace about Mia is that Mia's independent from her mom. She doesn't go to her mom. She doesn't run to her mom for any kind of financial support. She does everything. It's just between her and her husband. Maybe that's what bothers her. She can rely on her husband financially, whereas Candace really cannot. Candace has to rely on her mom or rely on herself. And she's a whole married woman with a husband, but she kind of probably does it alone financially. Or she probably puts in more than what Chris does. Maybe that bothers her. Maybe, that's why the whole broke bitch comment really, really affected her, because she's probably thinks that people think that is this how she's perceived by the public, as someone who's struggling financially, and she has a whole husband there. Maybe that's what's bothering her. I don't know, but Candace has a lot of anger issues. She needs to learn how to let things go, and she needs to learn how, if you're having an argument with someone and y'all want to go there with the verbal attacks, stick to that person as your victim, not their mother, their children, or their husband. Now, Michael maybe is fair game because Michael says things about them, so maybe she feels like I can say whatever I want about him. But I don't know. Candace is angry and she's really hurt. So we'll see what happens at the next episode. If you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up. And if you really liked what you saw, subscribe. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.